In Bolivia, within the Amazon rainforest, resides a tribe of indigenous people with the healthiest hearts on the planet. They are the Tsimane people. They have neither electricity nor gas pipelines. The natives live in woven huts, far from the amenities of civilization. However, the arterial condition of 80-year-old elders in the tribe is better than that of some Americans who have just passed 50. Studies have proven that the brains of these indigenous people also age much more slowly. What is the secret to the enduring youth of these indigenous people? At first glance, it's hard to tell how old this woman is. She skillfully cuts the fruits of the plantain, a local variety of banana, and tosses a hefty bundle over her shoulder. When asked about her age, she laughs and says she doesn't remember. They have to search for her birth certificate. The information in the document is shocking. It turns out that Martina Conchinate is 84. She is from the Tsimane tribe of indigenous people. There are only 16,000 of them. This remarkable people live in Bolivia, in the remote jungles of the Amazon, far from civilization. The typical daily routine in the Tsimane tribe is as follows. During the day they work, and in the evening they prepare food, gather around the fire, and socialize until the darkness of night falls. Of course, the women grow rice, cassava, gather fruits, berries, and so on. And naturally, the men hunt and fish. The Tsimane live in straw huts. They have no electricity and not even the basic amenities that residents of large cities are accustomed to. The Amazonian tribe caught the attention of scientists from the University of California when they noticed that elderly Tsimane do not suffer from typical age-related diseases, hypertension, diabetes, or heart problems. For example, despite her venerable age, Martina Conchinate's internal engine works like clockwork, without interruptions. Researchers decided to find out the secret. First, the Tsimane never sit idle, not even those who, by our standards, are considered very old. The members of the Tsimane tribe are constantly on the move, always active. On average, each person takes about 17,000 steps, and they do this consistently. They hardly sit at all, constantly moving, which provides the ideal load for our bodies, that is, without any sharp spikes or long pauses. In other words, the Tsimane do not sit in one place for 8 hours, even when, for example, weaving carpets. They constantly take breaks to walk around. Scientists notice that members of the Bolivian tribe have coronary atherosclerosis less frequently than any other ethnic group. The cause of this disease is the buildup of cholesterol plaques on the walls of the arteries. Even 80-year-old Tsimane have much healthier blood vessels than Americans who are 30 years younger. In 2017, researchers from the University of New Mexico visited 85 Tsimane villages and studied 705 people aged 40 to 94. It was found that only 13% of the people studied had a minimal risk of heart disease, and 3% showed a moderate risk. In contrast, a survey of nearly 7,000 Americans revealed that more than half of them had serious risks of heart problems. Heart and vascular problems are the most common cause of death in the 21st century. In 2023, these diseases claimed nearly 18 million lives worldwide. However, the Tsimane tribe is not threatened by such issues. Scientists decided to closely study how the internal organs of the Bolivian indigenous people function and age in general. It turned out that the brains of the Tsimane age and atrophy more slowly than those of other people. An international team of scientists studied 750 Tsimane individuals aged 40 to 94 and attempted to identify a link between brain size and a person's age. After scanning their brains, they realized that the processes in the Tsimane are much slower. Their brains atrophy and shrink in size much more slowly than those of people in highly developed countries like the United Kingdom, Japan, and the United States. Over the years of observation, Alzheimer's disease has never been detected in the tribe. Scientists concluded that the degeneration and death of brain cells can be prevented or slowed without the help of special medications. All that is needed is regular physical activity and a specific diet. The Tsimane diet is actually very interesting. Initially, one might assume that jungle dwellers should eat exclusively protein-rich foods such as seafood or some unique sustenance. In reality, the opposite is true. The lion's share of their diet consists of carbohydrates. The daily menu of the Tsimane is 2/3 carbohydrates. Most often, these are bananas and cassava. The tubers of this tropical plant taste somewhat like potatoes. Less frequently, rice or corn is served for lunch. However, the indigenous people eat very little meat. Hunting is not always successful, nor is fishing. Another important point is that the Tsimane do not use oil for frying, do not add salt or sugar to their food, and overall consume twice as much fiber as the average American or European. Americans, of course, are heavily influenced by fast food, and no matter how much they might want to, they could not adhere to this diet. First, it would be expensive, and second, where would you find, for example, capybara meat, wild pig, or tapir, which the Tsimane consume, readily available for sale? Their diet contains no cholesterol. All the meat they eat is very lean and low in fat. When there is absolutely no food, the tribe, as they say, tightens their belts. Of course, this is a forced measure. However, some medical professionals believe that with a sensible approach, certain dietary restrictions can be beneficial. And the constant search for sustenance is precisely one of the reasons for the incredible health of the indigenous people of the Amazon. The Tsimane spend most of their day on their feet. Tsimane hunters can walk leisurely through the jungle for a very long time, tracking their prey. This can take several hours or even an entire day. Women and children engage in agriculture. Their work also proceeds at a fairly slow pace. As a result, they are constantly active but in moderation. In medical terms, this is moderate cardio exercise, which is recommended for maintaining normal heart function. When the last fire dies down in the darkness, the Tsimane disperse to their huts. They go to sleep about 3 hours after sunset, which is around 9 in the evening. The Tsimane sleep for only 6, at most 7 hours, which is less than people in developed countries. There are no lazy sleepers among them, but it turns out this is more than enough for their health. The Tsimane sacrifice a few hours of sleep for socializing during dinner. Entire families gather around the fire, talk, and laugh. This also has a beneficial effect on the health of the indigenous people. They never feel lonely. Specialists say the so-called Rosetto effect is likely at play here. The phenomenon was named after a town in Pennsylvania where Italian immigrants settled. In the mid-20th century, heart attacks were almost non-existent among its residents. Against the backdrop of the rest of America, this place appeared as a statistical anomaly. The fact is that researchers noticed that in this town, people live longer and healthier lives than residents of neighboring settlements. It turned out that this is all because they interact with each other very frequently. They visit each other, constantly chat on the streets. They have such warm, heartfelt communication on an equal footing. And this came to be known as the Rosetto effect. That is, if we communicate, we make ourselves feel better and improve our well-being. But despite such prolonged youth into old age, there are few long-lived individuals among the Tsimane. The indigenous people living in the Bolivian jungle have no access to quality health care. Serious injuries, snake bites, and various infections take their toll. Women often die during childbirth due to a lack of qualified assistance. As a result, the average life expectancy of the Tsimane is much lower than that of Americans or Europeans, only 50 years.